Hello, and welcome to the show Goldsquadrongays. It's the podcast where two Star Wars loving gays break down each episode of their favorite Star Wars TV shows while also being gay as hell. I'm your host, Bradley Brower.
I'm your other host, Charles Rogers, and last time we teased you with two things, and we are going to start right off the bat with one of them. Last time we were discussing, has Tara Strong been in a Star Wars? The answer, as we found out, was yes. She's been in two.
Ooh.
She has been in Star Wars The Old Republic as several voices, but notably Risha Drayden, who is one of the smuggler companions, and a character named Holiday.
Holiday.
I don't have time to explain Holiday, but imagine if a hologram was a real doll.
Okay, so she's
and
basically...
the plot of that one Ryan Gosling movie.
Wait, so she's a doll? Or
she's a hologram. The guy is like dating. It's very weird. She is that voice. And then she is credited as, quote, additional voices in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Interesting, because now I'm thinking about it, because she's Miss Minutes in Loki, so that's a Marvel thing. What's her Disney thing?
That's a good point.
Because she does a lot of Cartoon Network stuff, but I wasn't thinking about, you know what? She's in the Guardians of the Galaxy TV series. I just looked it up. Oh, wait, that's Marvel. Wait.
That's Marvel.
Shit.
That's
What's
Marvel.
her Disney thing?
She
does a lot of Marvel
Disney
things. What is her Disney thing? Oh my God.
We've got to find out.
This is giving me like... I'm like scouring through every single one. I'm like...
Trying desperately to see if she was in a Disney thing.
Does she have a Disney trifecta? Oh my gosh.
We have to find out. I think I'm a little bit behind you.
Okay, I'll cut half this out, but I want to know.
I don't know if this counts, but she was in Disney Infinity 3.0 as the voice of Black Cat. I don't know if we're going to count that, though. Okay,
I found something. So it's called Wander Over Yonder. It's a Disney Channel cartoon. So that counts.
Okay,
so
there we go.
There we go. Okay,
Disney trifecta.
Way too long to find something that she's done. I mean, she's probably done more, but it's so hard to go through her IMDb page because it's literally a mile long.
I have been scrolling for 30 minutes and I'm at 2012. This woman has been in so much. But yeah, it also includes Star Wars The Old Republic and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. She was, quote, additional voices in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker.
So that's our episode of the Tara Strong podcast.
Yes.
This is our next week.
This is our Tara Strong Stan podcast. No, if you are just joining us, Bradley and I are in the intervening time between Book of Boba Fett and the next thing, watching through the original Clone Wars by Genndy Tartakovsky. We are taking it 5 quote-unquote chapters at a time. We've already done chapters 1 through 10, which was season 1. And in this episode, we will be doing chapters 11 through 15. When we are finished with volume 1, we are going to decide, we're going to look at the release dates and see how many episodes we want to do for volume 2. So that is what we are doing here. Feel free to watch along with us. If you are watching along, this episode is going to cover everything between when the shot comes back up and Anakin and Asajj's starfighters, they're racing at each other. So they were racing at each other and it cut to black. And then it comes back up and they're racing at each other again. That's where we're starting.
Okay.
And then we are ending with, I believe, Yoda lifting the rocks on Illum. Because I believe at that point it cuts back to Padme. Yes. So I think that is as far as we are going to get with this episode. Bradley and I are recording these one after another, but you are listening to it however many weeks in advance. As of this point, we don't know when the next thing is going to come out, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is supposed to be in May, but we don't know when Bad Batch is coming out. It's spring. What the fuck does spring mean, Star Wars
means,
Insider?
Which is crazy because like literally spring could still be like June. Like they could wait till fucking Kenobi's done and then be like, oh, by the way, here's Clone Wars. Like, you know what I mean? Or not
what
Clone
the
Wars,
fuck
Bad
does
It's like
spring mean? Oh,
so annoying.
Jesus.
Just fucking tell us.
Just tell me the release date for Bad Batch. I'm begging you. It's driving me insane. So, Bradley, everything between the dogfight between Anakin and Asajj and Yoda lifting the rocks up on Illum. What did you think of this section?
So this section was a little different.
Yes.
I think
for context, if you are just joining us, I grew up on the show. Bradley has never seen it.
Yes. So this is all brand new to me. I will say this section was really cool because we got to see a lot of Mace Windu, which we don't get a lot of him, I feel like, in the media, or at least we don't get enough of him in the media doing stuff.
And there was a decent amount of legend stuff. Like Matthew Stover wrote a novel, Shatterpoint, about him. Like he gets a little more depth in the multimedia project. He does not speak, so we're not going to talk about who his voice actor is until we get to 21 to 25.
Got it.
But it is very cool who is voicing him.
Okay, well, I liked seeing him in this because he gives him stuff to do, and also not only does it give him stuff to do, but I feel like in his quote unquote 2 chapters, because they're kind of split in half,
right,
he exemplifies like force powers. Like he seems like he's the most powerful fucking Jedi in the whole entire world, like based on like all the stuff that he does.
Mind blowing the stuff that he does.
So when we get to it, we will. But it was like I was like, holy shit! I was like, I imagine like this is what people wanted Samuel L. Jackson to do on screen. Like
this is literally what people wanted him to do. When they cast Samuel L. Jackson, they were like, "Oh man, he's going to be a badass Jedi," and he sits around for all of episode 1, and then episode 2 is like, give him something to do, and he does stuff, which is cool. And then this like really elevated like what this character could do.
Yeah, I'm almost like, give me something with him in it where Samuel L. Jackson plays him again, and then have it be this like action movie. Don't even say that it's a fantasy movie. Make it a true like action movie. Like be like he has to do the dumb thing where he's in the vehicle and there's a car chase, and then there's also a pretty woman who also can drive cars for some reason, and that makes her like really cool and sexy because she drives cars, and like, you know, stuff like that. Like we need that movie with Samuel L. Jackson, but he's just Mace Windu again. But just hey
Lucasfilm, you know, Marvel's like the next building over, and they did all that de-aging for Samuel L. Jackson for Captain Marvel. So like you can borrow their visual effects.
Just do it.
And do a Mace Windu movie or whatever.
Thing.
Like,
and just have him do all this stuff. Thanks.
Have him do all this stuff, yeah.
And one other thing that I like too is I really liked seeing Barris Offie. I was like, oh, that's a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting to see that. And Luminara or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay.
She's here.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting to see them. That was something like I just didn't know. Like, I guess I just didn't have previous knowledge. Like, I knew that like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, all that stuff, all these people, and Asajj were all in this show. I didn't know that they did other Jedis randomly. So it was just interesting.
Yeah, just like it pops away to sort of other Jedi. Like the thing about this show is, you know, it would come out daily.
Right.
So it would air like one after another. So like chapter 11 aired the 26th, and then they took the weekend off, and then aired the 29th through the 2nd of April, and they took the weekend off, and then they aired the last 4 one day after another. So they could do the main plot with Anakin, and then they could jump over for 3 days to do something else, and then jump back, which is why it sort of jumps around so much. It was very interesting to watch when it was coming out. And I do have distinct memories of watching this when it was coming out.
Yeah, I'm noticing when I look at like the chapters as a whole, like once now that we're like going and we're doing 5 at a time, it is kind of interesting. You can kind of see the arcs. Like it's almost like some of the chapters are like really just extra long episodes. Like they're really just like 3 episodes combined. Like if you're talking about story arcs, and the longest that they are about 3 episodes. And so we'll see in like the next section. It's interesting.
And then they have to jump like back to the main story.
Right. Yeah. It's just weird. Weird format.
Which is not how season 3 is. Season 3 is very different.
Interesting.
Than these. All right. So we pick up where we left off. Anakin and Asajj are dogfighting up in the sky and then down to the ground. Anakin says, "I have you now," which, okay. Yeah,
nice,
we get it.
There.
We get it. He's gonna become Darth Vader. I will talk about this next episode, the big thing, but I alluded to it in episode 1.
Right.
And I'm alluding to it here. We get it. He's gonna be Darth Vader. I do love the little exchange between Obi-Wan and the clones where he's like, "That's not one of ours. No, General. That's Anakin. Yes, General."
I love how Obi-Wan just seems like he's fed up with Anakin all the time. He's just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? My son is so stupid. Like, why does he never listen to me?"
Here's my thing. Here's my issue with them in these first 2 seasons. I don't believe that they're friends.
It does very much seem like Obi-Wan Kenobi does not like Anakin, and Anakin hates Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, hates him. They
don't act like they can stand each other at all.
Yeah.
And even in Attack of the Clones, they had a little bit of banter between them.
Yeah, because he's always joking with him. Like he's always like, "I don't listen to you, but we still care about each other." Like it's very obvious. Like
Anakin like bitches about Obi-Wan, but he bitches about Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan's not there.
Right.
Bitching about him to Padme. When they're together, there is this sense that, like, especially like with the speeder chase scene in episode 2, where Anakin jumps out and Obi-Wan looks over, he's like, "Oh, I hate it when he does that." They clearly they have respect for each other. In this, they're openly antagonistic to each other. Obi-Wan's constantly lecturing him, Anakin's constantly whining. I do not like this characterization of them at all.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
Especially since 2008 Clone Wars had a lot more time to develop them. I also feel like they didn't really know where they were going with them in episode 3. We'll get to next episode. They knew some things about episode 3 when they were making season 2.
Interesting.
It was in production. I believe it came out in 2005, I want to say. Right. Revenge of the Sith came out. Yeah, I don't like it here. Well, Anakin jets off after Asajj Ventress into hyperspace. And we cut over to Mace Windu doing awesome shit for a solid 7 minutes.
I was saying, basically, you might as well combine the next 2 chapters because he pretty much is it's literally like just him doing the whole thing.
Do you want to know about the little kid that's watching him? Because this is real interesting.
Okay, so this is I need to know 2 things about this because one, it seems random as fuck. First of all, second of all, why is it that this little kid is basically just Ezra on Lothal? Like the whole entire thing is just, it's a battle on Lothal. It seems like Lothal. There's the fucking, like, you can even see the what is it, the hay or whatever it is, the grass that is basically Lothal. Like,
do you know what planet that is?
I only know because of the descriptor on this little thing that's telling me what it is, but I had no idea. Like,
they literally mention all the way back in episode 1 that Master Windu is tied up on Dantooine.
Oh, okay.
And now 5 months later, they are going to pay that off.
That's crazy.
This is Dantooine. This is the planet that, as for why the kid's here, fuck you. It's a kid show. That's your answer.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know who it was.
This kid is really interesting. So his name is Paxy Silo.
Okay.
He only appears here. Right. But we get some other information about him thanks to StarWars.com.
Okay.
Paxy Silo, the historical record loses him after this incident. We don't know anything about him. Okay. But around the time of the Empire, animations started circulating on the black market of Mace Windu fighting droids on Dantooine. And they looked a lot like the style of drawings that this little kid would make. So, in universe, Paxy Silo animated these 2 episodes and put them on like the black market on the HoloNet.
Okay.
And these are canonically in universe animated.
Interesting. So is Paxy Silo like whatever it's called where you rearrange the letters? Is that like another name for somebody who works on the show?
I don't think so. I think it's just a Star Warsy type name, right? He recently passed away.
Okay.
In about a week of recording this. So I wanted to bring up at least at some point on the show Dark Empire, which my feelings about the actual content of the material aside, Dark Empire was very formulative for me and for a lot of people. I remember finding it in the Springfield Library and thinking it was the coolest thing at the time. I still think it's pretty neat and does some neat things. Definitely worth checking out. And RIP, Tom, you did some really cool work. So, but they look like the World Devastators from Dark Empire too.
Gotcha. Well, can we talk about just the logistics of this thing?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. It slams into the ground,
right, and
like blasts things with like the seismic blast from the thing hitting the ground. It's very like random super weapons for the sake of a random super weapon.
For sure. But we can talk about how Mace Windu is able to take this thing on by himself. It seems like there are no clones. There's just the clones, I guess. But like he is literally by himself, so he's just the only Jedi on this thing during this attack.
He's just there. Well, clearly he's all he needs because he takes the thing down.
Right. Well, so let's see. What does he do? Let's take a tally. So he's force running. He is able to use the force to explode the droids just like from within or take them apart something.
I've just lost count of how many
so many different things
force things he does over the course of this.
Yeah, if anybody wants like some kind of like culmination of every force power that ever existed, like watch this episode if you have to watch
this by itself.
Yeah.
Is like so many cool things. Reading the High Republic, especially Light of the Jedi, and seeing all the different things that they do with the Force recaptured for me the feeling of watching this episode when I was a kid. Like that bit in Light of the Jedi where like the drones are overheating and Avar and Elzar are like, what if we summoned a thunderstorm with the Force? It's that same feeling to me of like, oh, wow, you can do that with the Force, actually.
How many more things can we do with the Force? Let's just
how many more things can we do with the Force?
Right.
And it gets wilder over the course of phase 1, but I have High Republic brain rot, as we previously established. Well, Mace Windu beats up the droids, and we cut over to our first real look at the planet Illum.
Right. That
is Illum, where the Jedi get their lightsaber crystals. I don't think they're called Kyber crystals yet. I think they're called like a Aegean crystal or something.
Okay.
In this, but we see Luminara and Barris are here.
Yeah.
Barris is finishing up her training. They are attacked by droids, and they bury themselves in the cave. Kind of cool to see them. They were sort of background characters in Attack of the Clones, and they get a little moment to shine here. Barris's characterization and Luminara's characterizations are very different here than they are in the Clone Wars.
I'm glad that they were able to, in the second Clone Wars, they were able to give them way more depth and like something to do. You know what I mean? Like I don't get me wrong, I enjoy them, but you know.
I have issues with Barris in the 2008 Clone Wars series and the choices they made with her, but she's a very interesting character in that at least. And they don't have a lot of, that's part of the problem with this one, is they don't have a lot of time to develop characters at all. It's just kind of, look at this Jedi that you know.
Right.
The only person who really gets any development is Anakin. That's it. And his development is basically, look, he's going to be Darth Vader. Padme's ship is flying through space, and Master Yoda is on it for some reason.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
Yoda,
I was like, wait, why?
Senses them in danger, and is like, he goes to Padme and Captain Typho and is like, we need to make a detour and rescue these Jedi. And Typho's like, absolutely the fuck not. But I want to circle back to something I said in a previous episode. Remember how I said I just realized why R2-D2 is here?
Yes.
So again, episode 3 hasn't happened yet. They don't know that R2-D2 is BFFs with Anakin when they're developing the show.
Right.
Because previously, in episodes 1 and 2, R2-D2 works for Padme.
Right.
Because he's a Naboo droid.
Ship. Right.
So that's why he's here.
Oh, he's still technically hers.
He's still technically working for her.
Right.
She hasn't given him to Anakin yet.
Right. Because, like, from what I can understand, like, from at least, I guess, chapter from Revenge of the Sith, the whole idea was that she needed to keep tabs on Anakin because, you know, he was always away during this war or whatever, and then they're married, so she's like, well, fuck, I need somebody who can keep a secret, and R2-D2 is the only one who can keep a goddamn secret in this whole entire...
I think it's more of like a protocol droid is going to be more useful for a senator, and an astromech droid is going to be more useful for a Jedi.
Well,
and so they're like, switch droids?
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't... Yeah, they do. It's kind of weird that they keep...
That's why...
She owns them, yeah.
That's why R2 is here. So I did realize that as we were recording. Yoda just like straight up mind tricks Captain Typho. And it's like, rescue the Jedi, we must. Rescue the Jedi, we must.
I wrote this down because I was like, this is very important to this, right? I was like, and I like how Padme's like laughing about this because she realizes what's happening, but would she think, like, should she think this is funny? Because why is your captain of your fucking bodyguards like this susceptible to a mind trick? Like, that means he's not very like
because it's as bright a star in the sky. Because Yoda's the Grand Master. Like, in general, I like what they did with Padme in this. Like, I was expecting, I don't remember her being a particularly strong character in this originally. I was pleasantly surprised when I watched this, and I went, oh, okay, it makes absolute sense that she married Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like, watching the way that she's very diplomatic and composed, but she's still like, oh, there's an adventure, I want to go on it.
So like, I was going to say,
sense.
She reminds me, because I just finished Thrawn 2, or Alliance, and, you know, she's a main character in that book. And so it's funny that this gave me that same characterization. Like, she goes off on her own and she does her own shit. She doesn't wait for Anakin to do stuff. So she just kind of like, you know, because I guess the old characterization in the movies is always like, she's always waiting for Anakin, always waiting for him to be around, I guess. And it's nice to show her doing stuff.
Yeah, except sort of in Attack of the Clones. She's a lot more proactive in Attack of the Clones.
Right. When
she's like, well, I mean, they said you can't go to Geonosis, but they never said I can't go, and you're supposed to bodyguard me, so we're going.
Right.
Like, it's very much that characterization versus Revenge of the Sith, where because they cut her whole subplot out, she just mostly just stands around doing that movie.
Being pregnant. Carrying
like,
the most important characters in all the series in her belly.
Like George Lucas, your ability to write women is not great.
Yeah.
My final note on the sequence where Yoda's fighting the droids before he goes in, there's a bit where he's running around at leg height, and then their heads like decapitate. And I want to know how he pulled that off. Like, the logistics of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, doesn't seem like it matches up. But you know what, Yoda, you do you. Like,
yes. So Yoda defeats the droids and goes in and starts lifting up the boulders, and that is where chapter 15 ends. Do you want to hear about some voice actors?
Yes, please.
So obviously that is Anthony Daniels as the voice of C-3PO.
But who else?
Because that's what he does.
It's illegal to have anybody
That's
else.
his whole life has been playing this one character and cashing every check.
That's right.
But Yoda is being voiced by a gentleman named Tom Kane, who you might know from the 2008 series as the voice of Yoda and Admiral Yularen. He is also the announcer at the beginning of every Clone Wars episode.
War.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Love that.
Dastardly defeat.
Right.
The Separatists have moved on the planet of my... Yeah, he's that guy.
I love that.
But he's also the voice of Yoda. So we have a lot of people.
People from the 2008 version. Okay, cool.
I was just glancing at the cast list to see if there were any other voice actors, particularly that I wanted to highlight this. I do want to highlight the voice of Luminara, even though she's not in this a lot.
Okay.
Is a woman by the name of Cree Summer. And Cree Summer, I want to highlight specifically because she is the voice of Princess Kida in my favorite Disney movie, Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Ah, okay. I like that.
So she is the voice of Luminara in this.
Cool.
I'm not sure if she, let's take a look here because she's another Tara Strong one where it's like, if anybody's going to complete the Disney trifecta, it's going to be her. Yeah. She was in the Hercules TV show. That's interesting. She's another one. These animation people have just like been in, oh, here we go. She was in Spider-Man, the new animated series in 2003.
Okay. There's her
Let's see if we can find an even closer Marvel one, because I'll bet you she's been in something else. Avengers Assemble in 2014.
There you go.
So she like Tara Strong has also completed at least voice trifecta.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's easier for the animated people because they can do so many different projects, you know.
They do so many different projects. It is insane how many projects some of these people do. It's just an insane amount of talent. Well, Bradley, what did you think of episodes 11 through 15 of the Clone Wars?
Great. Like I said, Mace Windu, great job. Love seeing Barris. And I think this was a nice little kind of we'll call it mid-season kind of area. Like, I guess, because we're technically in season 2 now. So this is it feels like they resolved a lot of the main plot of the Munalist stuff in season 1, and season 2 they were like, how about we go and do some other things with some other characters? Right. Yeah, it definitely feels different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like they had a lot more leeway. I think that, let me take a look at the episode list that I have up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I would say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the first season episodes were what I would call the quote unquote main plot. I'm including the Asajj Ventress stuff in that. But only 4.5 of the episodes in season 2 are the quote unquote main plot. All right. Well, our audience will have to wait another either 4 days or 1 week or 2 weeks. We're still deciding how we want to release these as of recording, but Bradley, if you want to go ahead and run the socials, and we will head into our final batch of 5 episodes.
Thank you for listening to Gold Squadron Gaze.
Did Charles fuck something up? Email us at goldsquadrongaze@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at goldsquadgaze, and you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Gold Squadron Gaze. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Gold Squadron Gaze, where we post this podcast as well as exclusive video content.
Please join us next week and every week for another episode of Gold Squadron Gaze.